The 2015 college football season is it's done, finito. So, with that, it is time to direct our attention to the 2016 NFL Draft. A lot of very skilled players, a lot of whom are going to make their mark at the next level. So we're going to review a few that we like and have stood out to us. So I'll start with you.
Yeah.
Give me a play. We'll talk about some players that could be sort of top 10, 15, maybe back end of the first round, maybe some sleepers a little later. Who's your first player?
Jalen Ramsey is so scary to face as an offense because he's fast, he's smart, he knows exactly where to be, it kind of feels like, on the football field. Kind of like an X-Man who's sort of like, wait, why did you know that was going to happen? He defends the run really well. He's disruptive. He forces fumbles and interceptions. And now he gets to go to the NFL where they'll put him through a professional strength program and teach him even more. That's terrifying to think about. Even at a young age at Florida State, was tasked with, okay, you're going to have some of the toughest assignments on this team. Handled all of them with flying colors. He is a game-changing defender, even though he plays that sort of cornerback safety hybrid role. Right. You don't normally think of that being a top 5, top 10 draft position. I think he is the exception and a major weapon to whatever team gets him. Coverage
and feel and instincts and a disruptive playmaker, not unlike Honey Badger. Not unlike that sort of, Tyrann Mathieu.
Right.
He's no longer that nickname.
The artist formerly known as.
The artist formerly known as. But yeah, a lot of those same traits. My first player, along with the destructive theme, DeForest Buckner, the defensive end in that 3-4 scheme at Oregon, about 6'7", 300 pounds, and is unblockable, virtually unblockable. So good against the run, is in every single gap, it seems, and just is in the quarterback's face just as often and is a complete nightmare terror. And I expect if he ends up in the right system with the right defensive coaches and the right scheme, he is going to be a warrior at the next level, and somebody's going to be very glad that they get him, hopefully in like that top 10, 15 range.
Yeah, it certainly seems possible because that kind of size, they always say you can't teach size. He has other things that he has been taught, and they're very scary.
They are indeed. Who's your next player?
Now let's talk about the sort of late first, early second round territory. I really like Carson Wentz here, quarterback from North Dakota State Bison. He's big. He has sort of a breadth of experience as a quarterback, so he's made different reads. He's taken snaps under center and from the shotgun. So he's not one of those quarterbacks who you say, oh, well, he's only learned to do 1/3 of the things we need. He still has some development. He has a tendency to hold on to the ball a little too long. Sometimes he forces some throws. He's not necessarily a quarterback that you say, bring him in, plug him in, he's going to kick ass all over the NFL right away. He probably needs a year or two to develop. But with the tools he has and sort of just the leadership qualities that he's demonstrated, being injured for most of the 2015 season, I think he's very, very interesting candidate for somebody who needs a quarterback.
And the majority of his work done against FCS teams. Mind you, he has played against some FBS-level teams. But yes, that is something we'd like to see him against some better competition. We'll stay quarterback for me, Jared Goff. I think he could be anywhere in the first round. A lot of people have him penciled in as sort of top 5. Maybe he's going to Cleveland. Maybe he's going here or there. I'm not positive on that yet. We want to see him grow physically. He's still a little bit slight, but he has the arm. He has the awareness. Fundamentally, he is right there with any NFL quarterback sort of in raw college development phase. But yes, we have targeted him as somebody who really does look at the field very, very well and can turn into a high ceiling level NFL quarterback, releases the ball very well, gets everybody involved, really spreads the ball around. He's sort of a very scary point guard on the football
and is
field.
One of those quarterbacks who is used to having so much pressure and so much attention on him.
Started as a true freshman, so I'm really excited to see what he can do. Who's your next player?
So let's talk about those players that maybe are going to slip into the middle rounds that maybe NFL fans haven't heard of, and then they end up being Tyler Lockett and just destroying your team every other week. For me, that player is Malcolm Mitchell, Georgia wide receiver who has had kind of a star-crossed career at Georgia, riddled with injury, had to play with all kinds of different quarterbacks, some of whom were really not very good. And sort of, they moved him around position-wise. It was sort of I don't think they really had a clue until maybe this year what to do with Malcolm Mitchell. But he's fast. He has excellent hands. His route running is very strong. He has to stay on the field, obviously, but he is a interesting developmental prospect that I think if he starts getting some of those breaks going the right way, is going to be a really valuable pick later on in the draft.
Agreed, and I'm going to stay with receiver for somebody who seems almost can't miss. There's never anybody that's truly can't miss, especially at receiver when there is injury risk, and corners at the NFL level are so much better. But Josh Dachshund, he seems like a guy who will go in the second round, and then once he's very good in the NFL, we'll all say, of course he's very good. Bolitnikov finalist, he was the go-to target for a great passing team for TCU. Very, very, very good ball skills. Always seems to be the guy to bail them out when it's 3rd and 11. Somehow always finds himself open, even though he might not be the fastest guy on the field. He is truly special and will enrage a lot of fans who see their teams pass him up, and go on to have a really stellar NFL career. He does have all those tools.
Absolutely, yeah. So, it'll be fun to watch.
Yes, so those are our 6 players that we've earmarked, but we've got all sorts of coverage and future consideration all spring long into the 2016 NFL Draft. Be sure to check that out. We'll see you soon.